podcast, and today I'm gonna be giving y'all 6 lessons I learned from training. Because obviously, I run, I lift, I do a lot of physical activity, if you want to put it that way. So, obviously, throughout my journey of running and lifting and just getting better with it and experiencing more, I've learned a couple things. But I'm gonna dumb it down to 6 things, so I could probably think and name like at least 15 maybe. So, I just got 6 things that I think are like they stand out of all the things I learned, and I'm gonna just go over them right now. So the first thing, you cannot escape hard work. So I think a lot of people, like, just when it comes to fitness and lifestyle and I guess a holistic way of living, people think, oh, there's a magic diet, oh, there's a magic workout, or there's a magic pill that'll give me 6-pack abs in 1 millisecond. It doesn't really work like that. You have to be consistent over an extended period of time, not even extended period of time, forever, to be honest. And you have to show up day in and day out and, have grit and determination, have discipline to do things that you should do and be wary of things you shouldn't do and things you should limit. So, it's boring, to be honest. To some people it's boring. To me, not. I just understand it's a part of the process. But, if you endure the process and you just realize that's what really gets you to where you want to be, and you just embrace it and enjoy it, and you realize that that's what builds up to the end destination, you realize that hard work is a good thing. That's what's required. That's just the standard you have to hold to achieve greatness, because no one else is going to do it for you. You have to have the courage to go out and do that, because it'll never be a simple fix or a simple answer for when it comes to fitness. Overall, it's some principles, but it can look so different from person to person. But the one thing that I think that everyone does when they achieve greatness in whatever type of fitness endeavors they do, if it's an Ironman, a marathon, a powerlifting meet, they've put in hard work and consistency over an extended period of time. So no matter what it is, hard work, no matter, even just in life in general, it will always compound. It's no getting out of that. It's not a magic serum or pill you can take that will put you to where you want to be. So that's just what I want to state first. I think that's really important. But second thing, I say this all the time, I'm going to say it again. Consistency compounds. All the training sessions, all the fueling leading up to the training sessions, all the miles logged, all the small increases in weight and reps, they all add up. It's all progressive overload over an extended period of time. And this applies to real life too. When it comes to assignments, all them daily, other and minor grades, those all stack up. So when, let's say, for example, I'm going to compare it this way. Because when I think school, because for me personally, school and training goes hand in hand. Like, it's pretty much the same thing. You're just not running when you're at school unless you're in athletics. But anyway, like a perfect example to me, okay, let's say, okay, you're doing your daily work and your minor assignments or whatever, and you're doing that. You're turning in everything on time, and maybe you have like one late assignment, but overall, like, you're 99% consistent with turning stuff in time, and you're great. You're getting like 100, like all A's on that. And let's say you take a test, right? And it doesn't really go the way you wanted it to. Maybe you studied pretty hard, but you just kind of missed the ball a little bit. But the thing is, all that consistency of assignments and other and daily grades, all that foundation will hold that grade up. So, make sure that you can keep building on top of that. When I think of running, perfect example. So let's say you're hitting every workout, you're showing up every day, hitting your easy runs, hitting your long runs, and then the day comes where let's say it's a test. Like in terms of school, the test is a 5K. Let's say you missed the mark a little bit, but you learn from it. Let's say you take a test at school, you might miss the mark. You learn, okay, I don't know, 3x plus 2y equals 6. I don't know. And you just learn, okay, maybe I need to be more intentional and execute that better next time. And then when you get the next test or you get the next race, you know what to do and what to kind of avoid. So I just think consistency is not a safety net, like allowing you to just do tomfoolery acts and just act crazy. But the thing is, it gives you a base and something to fall back on whenever stuff doesn't go to plan, because stuff isn't going to go to plan all the time. That's 100% guaranteed. I definitely know that now, just experiencing things. But I just feel like consistency gives you the freedom to progressively be great. That's how I look at it. But all those bricks add up no matter what you're doing. And you really see it in running and lifting and any type of fit. Like you if you're not consistent, when you get on that line or you get under that bar to deadlift, it's going to be blaringly obvious. So I just really think that blaringly obviousness, if that's even a word, that correlates to real life. And then when you apply that, you get similar outcomes most of the time. most of the time. I have to clarify that. But the third thing, patience is key. This kind of goes along with enduring the process. I'm kind of mentioning that too. But I want to really harp on weightlifting because I think this is really, really, whoa, words are hard. I'm sorry. Let me reiterate what I was going to say. In weightlifting, you really see the aspect of patience being key. Because I feel like, I don't know why, but I just think of when people at 2.5 reps, like the 2.5 pound like plate to a bar, people are like, why? That's so little. But the thing is, in life, all that little stuff adds up. Even 2.5 pounds, that's significant. Like, I've done that in a school weight room. They're like, why are you adding a 2.5? Like, that doesn't mean anything. In life, all that stuff adds up, and people might not see it, but they'll see it when you see the big goal you're trying to hit. But anyway, adding 2.5 reps, working on controlling the weight, just all of that stuff adds up, and you have to be patient with it. Because other than the newbie gain phase, when you first start lifting, let's say you're like just the average guy, I guess, I don't know, and you just start lifting. Like within that first, like I'd say 3 to 6 months, you'll probably see a lot of growth because that's a random stimulus and your body's just adapting to it very quickly. But other than that, overall, like weightlifting and just hypertrophy and strength, that takes a while to build unless you're on SARMs or steroids. Even then, you still have to work at it and be consistent with it, but you just achieve those results a little bit quicker since you're on, exogenous hormones. But all that stuff, the 1 reps, the additions in weight, that's a very slow process, and you see muscle growth. Like when you start getting to the intermediate phase, muscle growth gets even slower because your body's already like, okay, I've been lifting for a minute, so I don't really need to build on muscles. You have to keep applying a stimulus to get it to where you want it to go. But it's the long game that really matters, and obviously it applies to training, running, lifting for me, and just fitness in general. But life too, like if I don't know, you trying to go to school, you trying to go to Rice, that probably takes years of studying and years of being in school and years of learning how to apply yourself in the academic realm. So I just think with training, if you're impatient, and I want to use running, like you're impatient, you just add 30 miles a week and you're running 4 miles a week before that, you will get injured and you'll have to take even longer to progress. So if you stay patient, you're like, all right, let me just add 5 more miles a week. So you start at 4, then 9, then 14, then eventually you get to 30. You being patient will pay off more than you just going out walls to the wall, just sprinting and running 10,800 meter repeats. You know what I'm saying? So keep it simple. Patience is key. I think with training, you really see that, and it really humbles you to be like, all right, wait, you need to, wait a second. So the fourth thing I want to talk about, kind of just mentioned this, keeping it simple always wins. And I've noticed for me personally, when I overcomplicate anything in life, specifically my training, when I've overcomplicated lifting or getting steps in or running or whatever, it hurts me more than it benefited me, because I'm just sitting here wasting time. Like, oh, how many reps of this I want to do? Where did I put this? Like, instead of just keeping it simple, all right. Like, for example, like I have a week of training. I want to do like 5 easy runs and 1 more up-tempo workout. So, all right, I'll put 3 miles here, 4 miles here, 5 miles here, just easy. And then I'll put a workout 4 by 200 meters on, 200 meters off. Pretty simple, instead of trying to do a whole bunch of stuff, jumping jacks with a medicine ball. Like, it's kind of weird. But I just realized, like, obsessing, I think obsession, I don't think it's a bad thing. You need to be obsessed to a certain extent, like obsessed about holding the standard and showing up and holding your word. That's great. But if you're obsessing over your splits, like, oh, I'm 1 second off of 545 and this mile repeat, so it's bad. If you're in a range, like that's why when coaches give you like splits, they'll probably be like 540 to 550, because realistically, you're probably not going to hit exactly 545 for each lap. I mean, it just doesn't really work like that. And, obsessing over heart rate is great. You should be in a zone 2 aerobic zone when you run. But if you're just like, oh, am I in zone 2? Am I in zone, all right, just, keep it a little bit simpler. But obviously, heart rate's important. You don't want to be running at a 190 BPM. You know what I mean? And then just obsessing over training programming is honestly not as important as just being consistent, being consistently good and intentional over extended period of time. That's the main thing. But obviously, like I just kind of went over, dating and programming is definitely needed. Like, you need to have an idea of what you're about to do. You probably just wouldn't go out and run just to run. You need to have an intent. But at the same time, overall, being consistent and just showing up and, applying yourself and being intentional with that, that's the main overarching thing you should focus on. But other than that, 15, we're the only ones that limit ourselves, because I just think the thing with progressive overload, the I guess the good thing about it is when you keep progressing, you slowly start to build up to levels you didn't think were possible. Because for me, before I did cross country, the farthest I ever ran was like a mile, like in a race setting. The fastest, well, technically, yeah, that was the fastest I ever ran at that point in time. But the farthest I ever ran in a race setting was a mile, like the 1600. So obviously, that's a little bit. I progressed from there in terms of distance. And then before I even went to the build, like I was running, like I've mentioned before, I was running longer compared to the average 400 runner. But my longest run is 4 miles. But then when I got to the peak of my cross country training, I ran 10. So I hit double digits. So bravo, pretty cool. But this just shows if you stay down, you stay consistent, you can slowly get up to where you want to be. It just takes time, and I don't think it's abnormal to have a ceiling or a limit that you may perceive to be real, but I think it's abnormal to let that dictate the outcome of your life, because you just let that dictate and be like, oh, I've ran 4 miles, so I'll never run a marathon. If you think like that, you're never going to run a marathon. But if you're like, all right, right now I'm at 4 miles, but this is going to take a while, and some days I might be a little discouraged, but I know if I stay down and just keep showing up and keep progressively overloading and keep staying patient, it will come eventually, and I'll do it. So I just think we're the only ones that really limit ourselves, because obviously there's people that can say, oh, you're bad, oh, you're slow, blah, 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 which, I mean, that's pretty discouraging. It can be, but at the same time, it's your choice to either listen to that and let that doubt win you over or not. It's your choice. So we're the same people that limit ourselves overall, and we're the same people that have the courage to push past that doubt and that limitation we put on ourselves as well. So that's what I got for that part. We're the only ones that limit ourselves. But the last thing I'm going to go over, negative thoughts don't determine the outcome. Because there's been so many. If you do any type of athletics or whatever, you can relate to this fully. There's been so many runs and strength training sessions and even walks that I've had questionable thoughts. And the thing is, those quats, what is a quat? I don't even know. Anyway, those thoughts, because I heard this thing from this dude named Jeremy Miller. He said, you are not your thoughts. And I agree with that, because sometimes when you think stuff, it's just stuff coming in and out. It doesn't really signify who you are, because, I mean, just because you think a negative thought doesn't mean you're a negative person at all. It's just a thought. It's just a kind of idea that's out there. But I think everyone should try to work on managing that, because especially when it gets tough in a race, because I mean, those thoughts could make or break you. If you give into that thought, it could dismantle your whole race. Obviously, I'm not saying just do nothing and just let them just pile. I mean, obviously you should strive to fix that, but I don't think the main thing is to 100% fix it, because at the end of the day, that's a part of it, because I think that just makes it a little bit more difficult and gives you a little bit more adversity to work with and learn from. So I don't think the point is to get rid of them. The point is to learn how to navigate around them and just accept that the feelings are there. Because, I mean, it doesn't matter how good you get or how stoic you get or how mindful you get. You're going to have a negative thought in a race or before a meet, or you might have a little bit of self-doubt. But I think the difference is when, like, I've kind of mentioned this before, you either have a complex of it or it's just a thought. Because if you allow that to become a complex, that's when it starts getting dicey, and then that starts becoming who you are. But if it's just a thought and you just kind of sit with it for a second, you just kind of deal with it and learn how to navigate around it, that doesn't determine the outcome. Because just because you have one negative thought in a race doesn't mean you're gonna tumble on the ground and barrel over and not finish. That's not what it means. It's just a moment in time where, I guess, I don't really know the scientific reason. I'm not going to give you a reason, but I just think the way I think about it, I just think your brain just kind of just going to places. It's kind of like just thinking, literally just thinking like, okay, what about this? What about this? And then you have to realize, okay, let's just stay in it and control what I can in the moment. But when you get started, you're usually reminded like, all right, when I'm saying this, I'm applying this like because a lot of people talk about, oh, I'm not motivated to go train, or, oh, I'm not having the best day. I mean, that's very real. I mean, that happens to everyone. But at the same time, I've realized whenever you get started with any workout, like I know Nick Bear said this. He's like, there'll never be a workout you regret, and I've never regretted any type of workout or any type of physical endeavor I've done ever, like ever. So just adding on to that, I just think whenever you get started, you just slowly get reminded of the standard and I guess the why of why you're doing whatever you're doing. And honestly, those are some of the best training sessions ever, like in comparison to the other ones, because it's just the fact that you pushed through something that was trying to stop you, and not even trying to stop you, but trying to like sway you from what you're trying to do, and you just push through it, and it just proves you even more that you are who you say you are and you are who you want to be. But overall, that was 6 things I learned from training. If y'all want some other lessons I've learned from, I don't know, fitness this is fitness. Anyway, 6 things I learned from, I don't know, maybe nutrition, 6 nutritional related things I've learned. If y'all want episodes like that, let me know. But yeah, that was episode 55, and I'm gonna see you next time.